couple years. I am a IT guy. Actually, I have a team in Amsterdam, um,
Huh.
of all places. So I'm in your city occasionally. Technically, most of the team is in Venedal, actually, but um, I'm an engineer. I like solving problems. This game is fascinating. So I'm enjoying it. I don't enjoy not improving. So I've been pretty flat MRR wise in the last year. And with the last round of changes that Valve has made, um, between effectively nerfing a few of the heroes I play a lot, and in particular adding the offlane role queue requirement, um, kind of reinventing myself as I have to learn a brand new role. So your content in that space has been great, but I'm looking for some more direct feedback and help. I've been watching your channel for years, and actually, I like this new approach. The subscription model makes a ton of sense. So I thought I'd give it a try and see what I can learn.
Sick, man. Yeah, honestly, I saw your initial question for joining in, where you said the whole Roku thing, and you were like the fourth or fifth person that I had heard mention that, and that was what I don't know if you saw, but I released a video on it like 2 days ago.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I saw it. I saw it and watched it.
yeah, that
I liked it,
was
by the way. Well done. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. I was just like, well, enough people are having this problem. Makes sense that support players are kind of just being flung into the off lane. So, um, yeah, that makes sense,
Yeah.
man.
There's actually two problems. One of them is support me being flung into the offlane. The other problem is other support players being flung into the offlane that I need to support. It's just like
Mm,
chaos right now in this game.
yeah, that makes sense. Are
Um,
you queuing 3, 4, and 5 when you play now, or are you just queuing 3 and 5?
yeah, I queue all three,
Okay,
four, five,
okay.
because I'm like 3,000 games into support, and not like I've figured that out in any significant way, but like I watch some of your support coaching, and I feel like I know a decent amount of the things that even like ancient players are supposed to be doing that I feel like I mostly do, but I'm a long way from that. So clearly I'm doing other things wrong in the support role, but my biggest challenge right now is offlane. So we could spend some
Cool.
time
So,
on that.
on your onboarding notes, it says that you want to do one offlane and one support replay. Would that be accurate for like a good use of our time today?
Yeah, I think maybe two support or two offlane replays would be maybe better. I've got a general one, and then I have a specific question for the second replay where I feel like I did a decent job of following your advice, and it still went horribly wrong around minute 15. So if there's some help you could provide in that scenario, like what should I do to avoid this
Sure.
train
So
wreck?
predominantly
That'd
3
be good.
today then.
Yeah, let's stick with three. Like he just keeps us focused.
So maybe if I could say what's your goal for today's session, would it be like to be a lot less lost in the 3 position? Sounds like also after the laning phase, maybe it fell apart a bit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I'm trying to take the practical suggestions you're providing and apply
Yeah,
them, but
I
most of
got
your
you.
practical suggestions are how to start, not how to mid or finish.
Yeah, for sure. I got you. So we're like we'll definitely watch the laning phase. I'll give hopefully one or two tips there, and we'll definitely look at the stage of the game following that. Um,
Yeah, and this particular replay, because my offlane hero pool is small, I've only been playing like Overlord and Scent on the general advice that they're relatively straightforward and can have a decent impact in the game. In this particular replay, they were um, both banned, so it's my first Overlord game. So any tips around Overlord
when you're saying
play, please
Overlord, do
be
you mean
helpful.
Underlord or?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, Underlord. I don't know why I keep on saying Overlord. I've been doing
I,
that.
I wasn't sure if this was like a joke amongst your friends or something to call him Overlord.
No,
Um,
Underlord, Underlord.
cool. Yeah, I mean, I guess my question is if you're learning a completely new hero in this game, there's going to be a lot of things that even I will mess up when I'm playing a new hero. So, would you like me to predominantly focus on Overlord, or would you like me to focus on Offlane as a whole?
Yeah, offline as a whole with obvious overlord, underlord, dumb things I'm doing. If you see any, just point them out so I can
Sure.
correct.
Um,
I enjoyed the hero. It was interesting to play.
cool. You can see my screen just fine.
Yeah, I got you.
Cool. Okay. How would you like describe your playstyle? Like even as a support, or like what about Dota do you like?
Uh, probably I like the complexity of the game, like the amount of every game is unique. You've got 10 or 9 random people who you've never met and may never see again, trying to work with them combined with, 100 plus heroes, all with all kinds of different spell casting capabilities and abilities and ultimates, and then a whole couple hundred items. Like it's vastly complex. So I enjoy the thinking involved in trying to sort out what's going on and what to do next, and then trying to actually do the right thing next. Um, Winning is satisfying because it's hard.
Mm.
So I like the challenge of the game.
What would you specifically say about the like hero pool of heroes you play? Like, do you like to be more? I mean, I can look at them, of course, but like, do you like to be more utility or initiator or auras or like how would you describe yourself? What about that
So
part about the game do you like the most?
I chose support because I like in general being in a supporting role. Like if you look at my personal and professional life, I'm often working to help make other people successful, and there's a lot about that in this game. Um, so that's why transitioning to a core role is a bit of a big mental adjustment. Now I'm the one technically being supported, and even an offlane role, I'm the one initiating or should be initiating. So it's a bit of a mind shift for me as well. So some of the feedback I get, informally while I'm playing the game is like, hey, why aren't you like you're supposed to be leading and jumping into this, but knowing when to jump in and when not to. Like I'm going to my death, but is it my immediate death or am I going to survive? Like in the second game, you'll see like I initiate and then I just get permanently stunned. I just die. Like I'm in and I'm dead. And so adjusting to that play style is quite a change.
Yeah, I'm
But
curious. For would you? This is just out of curiosity because I don't know you well enough yet. Would you potentially describe yourself as someone who like sacrifices for others or like looks after others more than yourself?
yeah, I think that would be,
Yeah.
I mean, my wife wouldn't agree with that sentence, but but I think in the context of the game, yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, because one thing that's a tough balance, for carry players, I have to teach them to think about what their teammates need. For offlaners and supports, I need to teach them how to think about what their hero needs, and they're not overly sacrificial.
Yeah,
Um, so that's just something I've noticed as like a general trend of Dota as a whole. Um, both things in extreme can be incredibly detrimental to our ability to win. So, okay.
yeah, for sure. Finding the balance is hard. So this is the kill lane scenario
You're cutting out a little bit again.
message.
I
Your
heard
just
you
general message. Oh,
I heard you say kill lane scenario and then you cut out.
weird. I wonder what's going on with microphone. Um, yeah, I was just saying like this is your sort of decide what kind of scenario you're in and then itemize appropriately.
Yeah, for sure.
So so I find AM particularly scary, especially if my support disappears on me. Um, so establish the lane, get it back, keep it there. My last hitting's still pretty terrible, but
Underlord's a pretty good hero to practice that. So, curious, what are your thoughts about this Q using your first spell right here? What are your thoughts on this?
Um, so trying to put some pressure on Disruptor and AM. I realized that using my spell on the creep wave is going to annihilate it and push the wave back. Um, but the intention was to put pressure on Disruptor and AM and get them to back off a bit
I got
while
you.
they were both attacking me or us.
Okay. Did you guys know you were gonna pull ahead of time like this? Or, like, was this a plan for you, or is this kind of like something he did and you stumbled upon it, or how did this go?
Yeah, so this support actually of all of the supports I ended up playing with was quite good. So he was proactively pulling um, lots of right click damage, like just generally being helpful in the lane. I saw him pulling, so I was doing my best. I messed up one example, but otherwise I was able to connect the pull and not be in the way or do something stupid to make it not work.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. So, we'll give some small tidbits here. So,
Mhm.
Anti-Mage is a kill hero, but he's not really a hero that it benefits you to buy movement speed against a lot of the time because he blinks on you.
Mhm.
So oftentimes a hero that's like really good to buy move speed against, for instance, is Lifestealer who walks at you, Ursa who walks at you, Slark. Slark has pounce and everything, but he has to like land it, and it is position based, and like Anti-Mage can just kind of reliably blink on us. So I guess I just want to give that quick note that when you're against a hero that kills you, what is often the best way to deal with it. So a lot of the heroes, it's move speed, especially when they're
Mhm.
like melee guys that can't move. But against heroes that are like Anti-Mage that can absolutely get on top of you, same with PA, like early windlaces, early boots aren't really going to do much because, yeah, you're positioned a bit better, but they just blink on you anyway. So oftentimes with these heroes, we want to actually mass stats, even if they're against kill lanes. So obviously, I gave a tutorial in that video, and it applies to most matchups. But that's kind of the nature of something that's trying to be a beginner guide is that it's going to cover 80% of scenarios, but not the other 20%. Um, so I just want to point out that against here, like a lot of people I've coached specifically hate anti-mage. Like they hate playing against it, whether it's because it split pushes them late game or because they're laning against it or whatever. So with anti-mage, the way that we generally survive as offlaners is to buy like multiple bracers or like treads, for instance, or phase boots. And every time he clicks us, we click him. And we use our spells like you did super early on in the lane so that when he mana burns you, you don't have any mana. And so he does no damage. So I know a lot of that video was about how to not lose your lane, and you're doing that right now. Like you're getting some CS. That's fantastic. 15-4 is not bad. Lane's near your tower. You've got decent resources. So we're off to the right track, okay? Like you're doing pretty decent stuff here. So I want to point out that not only is a kill lane about move speed, but also think about how they kill you. Right. So some heroes
Yep.
like PA and Anti-Mage who are very squishy and they jump you, it's better to just be so tanky that if they go on you, you kill them before they kill you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just
Yeah,
something
that
to
makes sense.
yeah.
And so that's why like I skilled E as my second because I was hoping that it would further reduce AM's damage, which would give me more time.
Yeah, I mean, Underlord's
I,
great for trading with these type of heroes. Not only is your E reducing his damage, it's not really that much reduction early, but it's also giving you extra damage, right? Which is really
yeah,
nice. So if you're struggling with CSing, heroes like Underlord are fantastic because at level 3, you have 85 damage. So
yeah.
that's really nice. So rule of thumb for the lane, I'm not sure if this is a specific adjustment for you to anti-mage, but it's kind of like just against the rules to buy a soul ring like this, like first item. Oftentimes the soul ring, like the whole struggle that's like the first 5 minutes is people harassing us out of lane. And the worst thing we can do there is effectively kill ourselves. So a lot of heroes either want like a ring of health or a vanguard first, or they want like part of a mech or like one or two bracers, stuff like this, like something that gives them HP regen first, and then they go for the soul ring afterwards. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So like in this lane, for instance, I probably would have gone like a bracer or two into like a stick, soul ring, boots. Like I'm just giving you an example. I don't expect you to know all this stuff. I'm just kind of giving you my thought process for how I would have approached this. So it's just more so if I could get you not buying soul ring first, that's like a great first step. And then if you are going to buy soul ring, buy some sustain items first, because that's like a soul ring is a very common offlaner item, right?
Yeah,
So it is pretty important that you understand this item because a lot of offlaners buy it. Tide will usually buy it. Underlord buys it. Maybe not Centaur, but a pretty good amount of them buy it. So, any questions about Soul Ring as a whole?
no, that makes sense.
Okay, cool. So, the reason that we want the lane back here, and this is just something I'm going to elaborate on, is, or I mentioned in the video, the reason why we want the lane back here is that you're really safe underneath your tower. Anti-mage can't really be aggressive. Now, Underlord is a cool hero that very few offlaners fit this description, but he's really good at clearing stacks, and he's really good at pushing the wave.
Mhm.
So oftentimes what that means that if this camp is available, so what you'll want to do, like let's just keep this in mind, what you'll want to do is you'll want to do the same thing you did level 1, where you get the lane back here. If when the lane's back here, I want you to kind of add to your pool of thought is this camp spawn at 1 minute? Right? Does this camp spawn at 1 minute? That's probably something you've thought a lot about as a support. So like, does
Yep.
this camp spawn at 1 minute? If this camp spawns at 1 minute and you're an offlaner that shoves the lane really well, like Underlord, then it's actually to your benefit to use that first Q like you did and then pull the hard camp. So I was
Oh, I see.
I was asking you earlier, was that intention? Like I was asking you, why did you Q here? Because I was wondering if you're like, I wanted to push the wave so he could pull. That's what I was wondering. But you were thinking like, oh, I'm actually not supposed to push it. Like I understand that does it, but I was doing it to harass them. And I just wanted to see like, were you kind of consciously aware of that it's actually the correct thing to do?
Yeah, what a miracle.
Yeah.
And in that
So
scenario, am I because like the probability of my support pulls is pretty low. Like so I queue, then I do my own pull.
yeah, so like right here, we can rewind here. This moment right here, you do this, you push the wave like this, you would walk over right now, you wouldn't get this creep. Like what you'd be sacrificing is this creep. You would come back over here, pull it yourself, and it's great.
Yeah,
The cost of
makes
it,
sense.
since your support's not doing it, is you're going to miss a last hit probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do it yourself.
And then more generally, because even getting my support to unblock that camp is a hassle. Should like I've also started buying my own sentries and just doing it myself because it's way easier than arguing with my support or trying to get them to like in some cases of that camp's been blocked for the entire laning stage.
Okay.
So
So I'm going to give you a quick proactive tip about this one. So I myself am not the most assertive communicator. Like I've gotten better at it, but I'm working on it. What I've noticed for myself, and I've also seen it in other people, is there's this kind of like, I don't want to argue with people. Like I end up in this like argument with somebody. And a lot of times what I've learned is if I tell the guy in the lane that he needs to deward the the large camp, that there's just like this natural, like, this is your fault kind of tone to it. Like, if I want to compare, and I'm not saying like that is the case, but what I'm trying to say is that I've learned that if you say that to him at 1 minute when it's blocked, it's very different than going into the lane at the very start of the game, saying to him, hey, I want to pull the large camp a lot. Can you please make sure it's available? Like, can you please sentry it?
Yeah.
And if they don't do that, like you look at their inventory, they don't have a sentry, like you're like processing that this guy's not going to deward the camp before the lane starts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what really for me is exhausting is in the lane finding out that this guy's not going to work with me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
So
I think maybe even the other replay, it's an axe pause 4, which is also really irritating
that is
because
irritating.
he's
If
in
he's
the
not the most standard 4. Go ahead.
right. Then he's in the middle of my creep wave aggroing it. And so I can't pull it back because he's like the creeps are instantly attacking him instead of my creeps. And so anyway,
Yeah.
but I like the idea of pre-communicating, hey, I'd like you to do this and hoping I I have done that in the past and it has worked. So I just need to do it more consistently.
Yeah, for me, what I like is that I like to know if I have to do it myself when the lane starts rather than
Yeah.
having to adjust on the fly. It just takes mental energy to like be like, ah, I guess I have to do it myself and like process it in the middle of the game. For me, that just takes, I think it adds up across games. So, yeah. So, we'll talk about adjusting to the axe later. But so, like, ideally, if you're playing Underlord specifically, you would actually use that hard camp a lot. So, like, right now,
Mhm.
I would just nuke this wave right now just to get
Yep.
out of here faster, and make sure they don't walk up and hit me. And then if my sniper wasn't pulling, I'd go pull. But since snipers like being pretty useful and like you're trading with them and all that, like fantastic. Like this is fine. He's doing it for you. Oh, you kind
Like
of
there's a mistake. I
yeah
did that.
yeah
Yeah,
you
I
actually
screwed that
blocked
up.
him. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Yep. That's just growing pains. You do need to be very careful of doing that. That did kind of get him killed there. Okay, so he's pulling. I mean, you kind of seem like you're learning that that's what that's what the lane strategy is. He's consistently doing it. You got ganked by Beastmaster. Yeah, you traded 1-for-1 and he was mid. That's fine. So basically, what you'll see a lot of offlaners do. So the reason that the kill like move speed boots soul ring thing is really good on primal is because the hero doesn't really want to trade. He's a kill offlaner. So not only is the opponent hero a kill hero, but his hero is also a kill offlaner. So if you notice on Underlord and Tide also, like Centaur can kind of be both, but Underlord and Tide are much more just trading guys. They have passives that make them tankier. They have like abilities that neutralize the damage of the opponent, and they just kind of like they don't really kill you per se, but they just kind of hit you. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm. Yep.
So with those type of heroes, you're going to be much more prone to buying some stats, like a bracer, a wand, stuff like this. And so I just want you to notice that with your first 2,000 gold here, you have effectively 6 strength worth of stats, and you lose the HP using the item, right?
Yep.
So these like ganks from Beastmaster and stuff, it's not that, oh, it is unlucky. It's like, okay, he got you. That was a nice gank or whatever. But if we just had extra stats there, that's the difference you could make. So I just want you to know when you're playing these more durable guys that are meant to trade and meant to like be utility, then against kill lanes, a lot of times your ideal is to buy stats. But if you're against like Ursa or heroes that don't really care about your stats, Lifestealer, Ursa, Slark, Monkey King, these type of heroes that can just kill you anyways, Drow, for instance,
Yeah.
then basically your default is stats. And then if that doesn't work, then like against a hero that you think will kill you anyway, then you buy move speed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. What do I do about the stat-based plan when my pause 4 isn't right clicking? Like I can't sustain 2 heroes hammering on me.
If your support is completely useless, then you will invest less stat items, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's even more useful that when you go into the lane, you tell the guy ahead of time, hey, let's get the large camp open. You're like, okay, this guy's going to work with me. I'm going to buy more stat items. Or this guy's not going to work with me. I'll just buy Soul Ring into Mana Boots and go farm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That will definitely affect your decision making. The less my support and I are on the same page, the less I invest in the lane. That's how I look at it. Does that make sense?
Yep. Makes
Cool.
sense.
Okay. So, let's see. Okay, so you go back in jungle a little bit. Got some Mana Boots. Yeah, okay, a little crazy shit going on here. Okay. Okay.
I feel like my general support play has given me a decent instinct for when I need to back up, when I need to not like play aggressively, but it's probably still skewed to backing up.
Hmm.
I'm not used to having like twice as many hit points, and this was just dumb. I just sat in that. I should have known that I was going to get hit there. That was just not a smart play.
No, so the way Underlord works, which is fantastic, is that he has an ulti to get back out on the map. So with every offlaner, the difference between like offlane and carry, for instance, is that we want to have presence in the game. So starting now, post laning phase, we need to like, our existence needs to be felt by the opponent. Okay, there's like several ways we can do that. But Underlord specifically, he does have global presence. He can help his team. Great. Now, Underlord, or a lot of offlaners, the way that we have presence is by just ramming it down their throats at this tower. Like, we just want to keep hitting the tower, running into them. And that's when we feel like we had a pretty strong lane. We bought some stats, and we bought a sustain item, and we are just shoving it into them. That's like one strategy. But the most basic part about this is for Underlord to have impact in the game, the worst thing you can do is have your ultimate, have your abilities, and you are not high enough health or mana to utilize them. So a lot of times what I'll do on Underlord specifically is I will do what you're doing where you stack the camp at 10 minutes. I go clear the camp where I'm consciously thinking I'm not available in the game right now. But then right after I finish that, I'm going to TP back to base. And I'm going to get all my health and mana. And then if that same fight happens top, and I want to respond to it the way that you did, then I'm going to show up there with full HP. Does that make sense?
And through gate.
Yeah, it'd be through your ulti.
Which bonus.
Yeah, exactly. So the whole idea is that if you're offlaner, like let's keep this super simple for now. This is a part where I say, like, I asked you ahead of time, are you somebody that will tend to be overly sacrificial? So I want you to ask yourself at any given moment, and this is past 10 minutes, okay? Like 10 minutes-ish past. The laning stage is over, okay? Are you, or do you have the resources to help your teammates?
Yep.
This is a simple yes or no question. The only thing I want from you here is if you do, that means you're allowed to TP and help them. If you don't, you're not allowed to TP and help them. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I'm trying to prevent the TP into your own safe lane with 1/3 HP and casually dying to Beastmaster axes. Like, that's what I'm trying to prevent. So what that question will hopefully make you do over time is that you're going to start noticing these times where you're supposed to help your teammates and you didn't have resources. So that's going to teach you to go get resources. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So if yes, you are allowed to TP or rotate. If no, you are not allowed to. Stick to your farming or lane. This will help you decide to get resources or not. So a big part of core compared to support is that cores really have to balance farming with fighting in terms of their resources, health and mana,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm kind of giving you like an introduction to that, and I think the best first step is to remove these type of TPs, and that's just by asking this question, right?
Yep.
So honestly, past your laning stage, just ask yourself, you're gonna keep doing your stuff. Just think, am I able to help my teammates right now? And then, if you saw this fight, you would have TP'd home, then gone to it. And, honestly, even if you don't die there, where do you go from here? Because you're like 100 health, like 200 health, right? What are you going to do? Like
Yep.
walk all the way back to base and then gate out? Like it
Yep.
feels really bad. You know what I mean?
It does.
So
Yep.
that's the part. I just don't want you to put yourself in that position. That's why, like, this position, like, you're like, that looks stupid. And it's like, well, once you got here, there's like not really much you can do. You know what I mean? So, that's the part for me that, I think some situations are just best avoided.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I know as support, you're going to want to help your teammates a lot. And as core, it's like, okay, what do I need to look out for my own resources first and then look to help them. Okay. So, your entire thing, if you're going to play Underlord, I honestly just need you to get in the habit of thinking my job is to push these waves as fast as humanly fucking possible.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I need you to, like, honestly, whenever you're on a wave, just push it as fast as you humanly possibly can. What I mean
Yep.
by that is you're not allowed to stand here right-clicking it. Like,
Yeah.
if you're a hero with a spell, like Anchor Smash or whatever this is called, Firestorm, then you use it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that, like, when I said earlier that your job in the game is to, like, feel they feel your presence in the game. The two ways to do that are helping your teammates, like I said, and the other is to shove lanes.
Yep.
Those are the two ways they feel presence. So that's like forcing the disruptor to come back bottom to defend this tower. If you don't push this in, then maybe disruptor's just gone through the gate and he's going to go kill this guy top. You just don't know what he's doing because you're not pushing the lane in.
Yep.
So I want you to think that you are now, you are promoted in regards to your role in lanes. So Underlord's a great hero to practice this because you can TP from lane to lane and then ulti to fights. So you can
Yep.
afford to be a bit slower with your map movements and thinking about it. Because like a lot of offlaners, they would have shoved this lane really quickly. Like if you're like a different hero, and you would have noticed this wave, and you would have had to walk to it, so that if a fight happens here, you would TP. But like on Underlord,
Yep.
you could just be like, I'm going to push this wave. Oh, there's another wave to push. I'm just going to TP to that one. You
Yep.
see how it makes it like easier to do this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the wave push with Firestorm at
Yeah.
4 is easy. And
Yeah.
I can do it without even being seen, right? I can be hidden and pushing waves rather than sitting there inviting a gank.
Absolutely. So the partially about all of this is by pushing it faster, you're going to force reactions and stuff, but also you're minimizing the time that you're on top of the creep wave, which means you are going to minimize deaths. So honestly, a future step there is how long am I allowed to show on the wave? Am I even allowed to walk up? Or do I just have to firestorm it from out of vision and walk away? These are more advanced questions. The first step is we can't just be right-clicking creeps. If we have spells that clear waves faster, we use them. Like we just and so I think really good progress for you would be right now you look like a guy strolling through the park. I want to see you sprinting because your house is on fire. That's the sense of urgency I want with pushing waves. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's just here ramp up sense of urgency for how fast you push waves. You don't have to play Underlord, but I do think he's a great hero to like intro course this stuff. To start with the wave clearing aspect of Dota. He will make your map movements in mid game a lot simpler than a hero like Centaur or Tide. You can still play those heroes. I'm just saying, like, I do think he's a great hero to practice this. If you like him, so. So like what I would want here, right, just to tell you what I mean, is I would queue this wave, push it in really fast. Then I would queue this camp to farm it. Then I would go back to this wave and queue this one. And then I would either be helping here potentially, or at the very least, like this tower is like dying to creeps, and this camp's already dead. You know, like this is not allowed, right? This is the stuff that we're saying. Like, I want you to think that earlier I said your resources are what determine if you fight or not, but you need to be willing to invest your resources consistently to be hitting creeps.
Yeah.
Like the thing about offlane compared to support is you have to use your spells and mana to farm. Like for supports, you're often thinking, where do I best use my health and mana against heroes, right? Like that's most of what supports do. They do occasionally farm, but like that's a lot of what supports do. But on offlane, it's like we need to first learn to use our resources on creeps around us. And then eventually we'll get good at doing that while also being able to join our team. Does that make sense?
And then I will end up running out of mana much faster because like I regen Firestorm in 45 seconds and the cooldown is 10, right? So I'm gonna run out of mana
But you have
pretty
Soul Ring
fast.
and Mana Boots.
Right. So those two plus when I'm out, then just TP back and then gate
If there's a
somewhere either
fight.
helpful if there's a fight or back to farming somewhere.
Yeah, like so a lot of this time you'd be like spamming your spells, you'd push in this lane, you'd kill this camp, you'd kill this camp, the camps respawn, you kill them again. Like all this time you're slowly but surely dwindling your HP and mana, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna TP back base, and if there's a fight top, you're ready. If not, you kind of just walk through these camps and do it again.
Yep.
That's like a good default to go with here. Does that make sense?
And then that gives me the gate if I need it in any of that time back to join a fight.
Exactly.
But in
Exactly.
this phase, I'm not initiating, like I'm joining fights, but I'm not looking for them.
Yeah, so this has actually been a point of discussion in all of my coaching sessions. Is the most important thing. A lot of people, this is honestly all the way up to like 5-6K, like MMR. This is not like a, you know, a isolated problem across brackets. A lot of people are asking me, how do I know if it's a good fight or not? What I've told people is, like, let's just act like that question doesn't exist, okay? What is your role in the game? To initiate, to fight? That's too complicated. Your role in the game is to think to yourself, I need to be able to fight.
Mhm.
So on Underlord, that's fantastic because I can ult anytime I want. Like anywhere on the map, wherever they are, I can go. I don't need to pre-plan anything. I can be like, you know, on other heroes will require some foresight because I'm limited on my map mobility. But like on Underlord, I can just be farming, and all I have to make sure I have is some resources, some health and mana. And if I don't, I need to go get them. And if a fight breaks out, I just go, oh, there's a fight, and then I'm ready.
Yeah.
So rather than you thinking like, I need to go force a fight, or I need to initiate, or I need to read the map, your job is to read your resources, play the area you're in, and then if a fight happens, just be ready. Just be ready. That's all. Does that make sense?
Yep, I get it.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, the one thing we don't want to do as Underlord is walk to our team. Ever.
Mhm.
You just don't. You have TP scrolls and you have your ult. So if we can just remove the walking to your team thing, like if like right now, I want you to know the only thing you're not allowed to do right now is walk to them. You could push this wave. You could farm these camps. You can farm these camps. You could TP top here and farm these camps. Just don't walk to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Literally every option other than that is great. Because the beauty of Underlord is that he can be anywhere he wants to be. He can be anyone he wants to be. No, I'm kidding. But yeah.
So this is an example where like I'm not rushing into that fight. Like they've got 3 or 4 heroes on the other side. I'm likely going to die. I don't know how many of my team I can count on engaging. Like this isn't a fight we need to initiate. The mid tower one.
My
The one we
thought,
just, this one.
what is your question exactly?
Like, is that the right thinking
The, like, if I'm being,
versus the
God,
like aggressive, like either gate over go? Like, is this a fight I should be I'm worried about a pudge hook? Like, this isn't like, I don't know that we win this fight, so I'm not initiating it and I'm not aggressively trying to start it. But I've got techies like right on the edge there who's playing mid, low HP. I've got CM who's also low HP. My two like mid and support are in front of me right now. Um, but I'm not feeling like I should attack. Is that the right thinking?
okay. I think I hear you. I need to reset for a second here. Like, I hear you. So earlier, okay, obviously, not obvious. I've coached a lot of people, and there's two extremes I've seen many times. All of us fall on one of them to some degree. It's not like it's just black and white if you're fully extreme or whatever. The two extremes are people who I ask them what they're thinking, and they go, I don't know why I did that. The other group says what you just said, which is
Mm-hmm.
a really long thought about a situation. And they're like hyper analyzing the situation. So both of these are equally detrimental. I can't coach the person who doesn't know why they're doing what they're doing. So I have to teach them to learn how to, like, literally be in touch with their thoughts. And then I can coach the person who is hyper analyzing like yourself, but I got to help you unlearn the questions you're asking because they're getting in the way of you making the right decisions. Right. So it's like, it's great. It's really good to be curious. It's great to ask all these questions. I lean on the side of overthinking as well. So like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're talking about this whole dynamic with the fight. What I want to say to you is this: don't walk to your team. So you're not even here in the first place. You're not sitting with him here at all. Your entire role is to clear creep waves and have your ulti to join your team. Your two jobs are clear creep waves with your ulti to join your team and to minimize deaths while you're doing that. So, like, you have to be careful about dying while you're playing by yourself, and then you can ulti to your team. Once you have, like, a really good, like, you feel really strong where you're like, I could just walk at these fuckers. They can't do anything. Then sure, walk around with your team and force a Roche, force a tower. But you're kind of being timid. You're not really sure what you're supposed to do. Great. Just don't do anything. Just hit creeps. Like, literally just hit creeps. And the whole point is that it's very different if you're like a Tide Hunter and you're sitting up here doing absolutely nothing in the game. Like, I'm like, where's my Tide Hunter with Ravage? But if I have an Underlord and he's pushing out creep waves nonstop and he's got fucking Greaves Crimson at minute 20, and every fight that breaks out, he's ulting in, and everybody on his team is Greaves Crimsoned. It's like, well, nobody fucking dies. Right? Like, that's so you're gonna like carry games that way. So part of like these situations up here where you're like, oh, I did something stupid, like I got hit by axes, like that looked really bad. And then you're asking me spots like this, and you're confused. You're like, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do. Look, that didn't really make any sense. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. And I want to show you that, like, these are unfair decisions to be made because we can just not be here in the first place. Like, that's what we want to be doing. So if you find yourself, because it's inevitable, you're not going to like have perfect map movements or anything like that. If you find yourself thinking this whole thing again, especially 10 to 20 minutes into the game, like this is like kind of early-ish mid-game, right? You find yourself thinking these things, like, do I go in? I'm not really sure. This feels awkward. The guy that's really squishy is standing in front. Like, I don't really know what we're doing here. There's a very simple solution. Just leave. Exactly. So just leave. Because there's a reason why you have no clue what to do here.
Yep.
There is no obvious answer. Like, there is no, go on that guy, protect that guy. There is no obvious answer. Go ahead.
Yeah, so just get back and then hopefully they disengage. If not, they die, but at least I'm farming.
Yeah, and just say, like, hey, I'm going to TP top. Like, I'm not sure. Like, you can literally say, I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I'm going to TP top. Like, you can just be very honest. I've learned that honesty for my intentions usually works pretty well. If people yell at me or bitch at me or whatever, then I just mute them. And it sucks when people do that. But I've noticed they do it less when I'm just very honest. Like, if I say
Yep.
something like, guys, be careful, I'm leaving, like, please don't die. People are more likely to react negatively to that than just saying, I don't know what I'm doing here, I'm going to TP top. Like, one of those is just, like, assertive and just saying what you're going to do. The other one is, like, kind of assuming they're going to feed. And they kind of, like, hear it in your voice. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm worried you're going to feed. I don't know. People want you to believe in them, even if you don't. So, yeah. Does all of that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is your guide for like 10 to 20 minutes. So 10 to 20 minutes in the game. If you feel like you are in a weird spot with an unclear decision for fighting, just walk away or TP away, depending on, you know, that's up to you. In the exact instance, there's going to be one that's generally better than others. So what I want to see, like, if you pick Underlord, that's great. If you want to pick it on a different hero, that's fine too. But I would want to see, like, sense of urgency for killing creeps, from like 8 minutes onwards, 10 minutes onwards. Laning stage is over whenever that happens. And if you're with your team, you either walked at an enemy objective or you TP'd to your own objective. So don't stop farming in order to walk to your team. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah. Clear keep waves, don't die, all TP to team fights, walk away from weird, have a sense of urgency.
Exactly. All the above. If you get one of those, it'll be significant impact on your gameplay, I promise you. If you get all of them, then, like, massive impact. Okay. Okay, let's see. So honestly, in this example, you just walked away. That was pretty good. I'm gonna stack this. Farm it up. Okay.
Still don't consistently stand in the firestorm. I have to get used to that.
Yeah, I mean, this was your first game, so I'm not gonna hyper focus on Underlord nuance. Like, I think you'll get the hang of that in 5 to 10 games if you just, you know, playing Underlord. I think you'll get the hang of that. Okay. So when you TP'd out here, was this to, like, try to kill anti-mage, or what was your reason for TPing?
Yeah, defend the tower.
Okay.
That's Techie's. Techie's going to get destroyed by any mage, so.
Gotcha. So the cool thing about this, it's going to be a bit difficult for you, but, like, rather than having to, like, sidestep these camps, you can just queue them. And I want you to think that if you can get in the habit of just queuing a camp, hitting it, and then just doing this with your camera, like, wherever your team is, just look at them. That's going to help you. That's really important for you with Fiend's Gate. So once you get, like, a major sustain item, whether that's Greaves or Crimson or something like that, you no longer have to look at the camp anymore. Does that make sense? Like, early on, you kind of have to be careful because you'll just die to creeps. But, like, later on, you know, it's just something to keep in mind that, you know, in order to enhance your decision making, we just want to be looking around. So you're clearing this. Go ahead.
In general, I want to stay close enough, though, to get the XP from killing the creeps, unless there's some other very urgent thing I need to go off and do.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
So the same thing here. You know, obviously you're not going to fix this in the game. It's a history game. You know, you already played it. Don't walk to your team, right? Just don't do this.
Yeah,
Same thing.
Yeah.
You want to be here, gate in, that's great.
And so just backing up a step, so the gate scenario, just because I'm trying to get an idea of the right gate placement. Where would I put the gate if would I gate in? I don't want to gate in behind my team or too far ahead of my team on top of the fight. Like, where do I gate in to this example? Like,
if they're going on my team, I will gate on top of the guy they're going on, unless there's, like, a faceless void or something, you know, then I won't do that. So my rule of thumb, generally speaking, is I'd say the default is on top of my teammate if he's getting gone on. If we're going on them, then I ult in behind them, behind the opponent. So, like, say your team was going on them here, I would ult right here.
I see, behind them. Got it.
Yes, because you're great at cutting people off, but you don't really offer catch otherwise. If they were initiating right here, then I would just throw the ulti right here. Now, they do have Disruptor plus Dawn, so if we're, like, adjusting perfectly from game to game, if they go on Spectre right here, I'm going to go outside of the radius of these two spells, so I'd put it, like, right here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking
I tried the
perfect placement thing. Yeah, go ahead.
I tried the going in behind thing a couple times, but my team disengaged and left me there to die. Like it's a riskier move.
It's a risky move, for sure. It's a risky move. We do need to be very careful of overcommitting. Okay, so we used Gate to try to catch Anti-Mage. Okay.
Very hard to catch.
Yeah.
Probably not catchable, actually.
Yeah. I'd say you're over-optimistic. So we're being very reactionary to things that are happening and then walking away from lanes. Like, I want you to see how often you're walking away from lanes.
Yeah.
So
just push the lane.
Up here, when Anti-Mage was pushing, like, I'll rewind. Rather than giving you, like, a hypothetical. It's not here. I'll fast forward. So you TP here. You're going to clear this wave, or camp, sorry. Then you're going to clear this wave. And then rather than walking to... Oh, yeah, then you're going to clear this wave. That's good. Rather than walking to your team back here, I would go here and then be ready to go to the next wave. Or I'm walking to this wave. Those are like the two things I'm doing. I'm walking from camp to a wave or straight to a wave. But the one thing I'm not going to do is walk towards my team here because your job is to get this next wave here. This one right here. That's your job. Our job is to prevent this guy from killing the tower. But then you're like, oh, he's killing the tower now. I have to, like, gate back to here. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're actually, like, kind of having to use your gate anyways, and it, like, feels bad because you're, like, doing it to defend something rather than, like, help your team after you've defended something. You're, like, one of the best tower defenders in the game. Your hero. Because you're really tanky, and you have, like, an AoE root and an AoE damage over time, and it's, like, really annoying to dive you. So you're great at being the one that stands in front of towers. So offlaners can kind of be the guy that, like, consistently pushes out lanes against the opponent, like pushing into their tower. But Underlord often ends up being the guy that, like, plays his own side of the map. Like, whether it's, like, so on Dire, you'll predominantly play these two lanes. Like, to push this out, and connect to your team. And on Radiant, you'd predominantly play down here, push this out, and connect to your team. Like, that's not going to cover every game, but that's like, 80% of your games.
And my carry is typically farming that lane.
If they're farming it, then let them have it.
Yeah.
But I just want you to know that if this tower is dying, that's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. That makes sense.
So if your carry's up there, by all means, don't, like, TP into his lane and take it from him. But I just want you to think that, like, I always say it's like the oven. It's like you have a bun in the oven. You don't need to necessarily do anything yet, but you do need to occasionally check on it to make sure it's not on fire. So this is like, you're just monitoring this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of bun in the oven analogies, but never one.
Yeah, not that one. Yeah, for sure. Cool. Okay. So when I was coming to this coaching session, based on what you said your struggles were, this was the main portion of the game that I wanted to focus on because, it's just the most important part. I think as the game goes on, it becomes more similar between supports, and I think all roles become more similar personally. So, we have about 10, 15 minutes left. Would you like to go to the other game? Or
yeah.
Okay, let's jump into that. So send me that and we'll jump into it.
Okay, so this is another Overlord game. And around the 15-minute mark, it all went upside down.
Cool. I can tell you that hopefully what we see here is patterns. You're probably going to walk to your team and end up with tower problems, and you're probably going to be in awkward fights that we don't want to be taking. But that's what we're gonna see. We're just gonna see. Maybe not. Maybe it's completely different issues. Okay.
Prediction made. This on mid was also very grumpy, like very tilted, for reasons I don't actually understand. But maybe we'll see why.
Do you want me to skip to 15 minutes, or would you like me to kind of zoom through the laning stage again? What would you like?
Yeah, we can have just a quick look at the lane.
Okay, sure.
I think this is actually the axe.
This is
No, this
Skywrath
is
Mage
not.
4.
Yeah, that's right. But much less useful sport.
So general rule of thumb is this ability doesn't trade at all. Like, so every ability that we want to cast in lane is pretty much to trade. Like, almost always. Until level, like, 4 or 5. Your hero is not a kill hero, for the most part. Very rare. Like, at the earliest, you will take this spell at level 4.
So, let me tell you why I took it. Not for me, but for Skywrath. Like, if I can stop the escape, Skywrath has enough damage to I think, kill. Does that make sense or not?
This goes back to we need to play our hero within our needs. This ruins your game. Like, this makes your hero suck, is what I'm trying to say. So, like, I understand, like, you're over, like, I'm telling you in my own way, you're overthinking it. It makes sense, the synergy with Skywrath Mage, but the way I look at Underlord is this spell literally doubles in damage from level 1 to 2, and I'm a strength hero with 360 mana, and both of my spells cost over 100 mana.
Yeah.
So, like, by using this spell, I can't use this one.
Yeah, okay.
So,
I get it.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the goal. You know, for, like, I could tell you if you played 100 games of Underlord and you went 2-0-1 every single game, it would probably be correct.
Okay.
Unless you kill Witch Doctor and then Witch Doctor, or sorry, you kill Faceless Void and then Witch Doctor is TPing out in front of you as you leveled up and you want to level this to cancel his TP. That would probably be the situation in which...
This is funny, by
yeah.
the way. This is the carry and the support chasing my carry all the way across the map. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
did. They weren't
crazy.
laning for quite some time. I did see that.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, missing creeps is what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly. Messed that up anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So you're already getting in the habit of just using that camp a lot, which is great. And that's why Underlords doesn't mind leveling his W later, because you have like a Soul Ring or like Mana Boots, and you have like the mana to cast it. And it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, some lanes you don't even level your W at all, but with a hero like Skywrath Mage, you would definitely take your W. Okay.
Too late. Not helpful, but
My general rule of thumb for people that I see in your position that tend to overreact to plays a lot, they're like trying to help their team a lot, is if I've told people, and it's usually had a lot of high impact for them, I tell them, look at the fight for 3 seconds before you TP. Consider...
there aren't many fights that last that long, but that's the point, I guess.
prior to minute 15, there you will be way better off assessing the fight. And the whole idea is, if you weren't looking at it, meaning you weren't ready for it ahead of time, it's already too late.
Yeah.
Before 15 minutes to look for at least 3 seconds before you TP somewhere. So I'm just telling you, by my definition, you have a overreactive trigger finger on your TP scroll. So I do want to, I just want to tell you that is hurting you a lot, these TPs. And I would 10 times rather you be 3 seconds late than do what you're doing.
Yep.
That's what I would go. And what this teaches you is, honestly, in my experience, better habits, because you either then have to be ready for the fights, or you just don't go to them, and you accept that your awareness wasn't good enough yet, and you need to work on your awareness. Does that make
Yep.
sense?
Yep.
So yeah, we want to make sure that we are like, learning to the decisions in the right order. So as offlane, we want to maximize our resource management while we're farming. That's really important. So like honestly, if I was giving like this would be your best way to improve, the rest of the map doesn't exist for the first 10 minutes. I want you to show me that you can use your resources well, push in this lane, pull this camp all the time. If you can't lane, you're farming these camps over here and then coming to
Yeah.
defend your tower. And I would want to see that you're min-maxing the shit out of this area for like the first 10 minutes of the game. Like you can just ignore the rest of the game. And it's not because you shouldn't be doing anything else in the game, but it's because this needs to happen first. Otherwise, on average, you will be hurting yourself a lot. And so what happens here is you'll get a really good sense of how strong you are in your lane, how fast you can farm in your lane, how often you're ready to help your teammates. And then once you've optimized the shit out of this area, we can start worrying about them.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Okay.
times I can tell you as your teammate, I'll be like, why is my Underlord here? Like, that's what I'd be thinking. Like when my guy TP'd, I like, why did he TP here?
Yeah.
And we don't want to be that guy. That's why, maybe he was a bit grumpy for that reason, but never doesn't make it like okay that he's grumpy. Okay, so you're gonna walk. This is good. You're gonna walk here and defend the tower. A little bit of a not respecting the ability of Void to kill you there. Let's see. Okay.
I didn't see. I didn't realize that the tombstone was down.
My question is, what is your thought with this ulti play and stuff here?
Well, we felt like we had momentum. I assumed that mid was going to connect, and we were just going to keep the pressure up. But
Gotcha.
instead of it being 5, it was 3, and yeah. Obviously that was a bad decision in
What's
retrospect.
interesting about a hero like Underlord is that I can sometimes get impatient if my teammates aren't like making moves on the map and stuff. But in general, hardly ever are you the one making the gank happen. You're a follow-up to other people who've already started the gank. Like the Underlord, the Treant has like already ulted somebody, Skywrath Mage has already slowed them, and you then TP on top of them or like slightly behind them, and you finish them off. But you're never really preemptively TPing on people. It's just very unlikely to work. And it's just not the way your hero wants to play. So if you had the default of always waiting for your teammates to go first or to get gone on, and your job is to be ready for that rather than to try to make plays, but first you need to learn how to farm and be ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Like right now you're trying to, do I go around the map? Do I take momentum? Do I take these good team fights? I was expecting this rotation from this guy. I want to see like 150 creeps per like killed by minute 20 and this area farm the shit out of, and you have Crimson plus Griefs. And that's what I want to see, because that's going to be your sign of success. And I know that's a complete mindset flip from playing support. Like, I know it is. So I know that's not going to be easy, but you are honestly going to fuck yourself if you keep trying to be active in the game like this. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because the probability of it working is low, and then when it doesn't work, it's just a big waste of time, lost resources, skip behind, etc.
Yeah, I always say carry your team with the power of money. And for Underlord, that's just having Crimson, Greaves, Pipe, Shiva's AC, just like everyone on your team's unfucking killable, and then you walk at objectives and they all die.
Yeah.
That's what this hero loves to do. Once he gets to that like critical mass, it's like, I'll tell you, if I had your items, meaning like no aura items right now, I'd probably be like farming over here. Like super passive, super chill on the map, and then maybe defending this tower or like pushing this out and farming this area. Like I'm not really participating at all with these items. I think it'd be safe to say you're not really going to team fights unless you have your like mech or, you know, whatever first item you end up buying. That's like a pretty safe bet on Underlord. There's going to be times where you might miss saving somebody underneath their tower or something. But I can tell you in the long run, if you focus on farming up here, then eventually we can work our way back to TPing properly to other lanes and helping them. I just want to flip that order for you, if possible.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So you said the game kind of falls apart at 15 minutes. We're going to watch a little bit more here. So, okay. Yeah, so in this case, instead of walking to your team, I want you to TP mid and push out the wave.
Yeah.
If you want to TP mid, push out the wave, and do that exact same move, fantastic.
That was dumb, by the way. Trying to get the rune. That killed both of us. Skywrath was in there trying to do it, and I should just let him die.
Yeah, in my
But
experience, if I use a bunch of my resources to... Okay. Yeah, this is so interesting. Honestly, if I can get you never walking to your team or TPing to them like this ever again, your MMR will go up at least 300. Like, literally just never do this again. If we can just get it. With Underlord specifically. Like, if we can get that as on Underlord, because I want you to remember your job is to be able to fight, and you keep going to fights ahead of time. But the beauty of Underlord is you don't have to do that. Like, so if you're a Tidehunter or like Centaur, like a hero that's not Underlord, in these type of circumstances, rather than TPing to your team like this, I would want you to walk to these camps or like walk to this wave here. You know, walk somewhere else to farm and then be ready to TP with your team. And if somebody's like making a call saying like, hey, Underlord, come bottom, we can defend this, we can kill them, then that's great, do it. The last thing I want is for you to like try to make a play bottom and be like, oh, I thought my Leshrac was going to go there when he didn't like say anything or anything like that. Like nobody's making calls. You know what I mean? So yeah, these are the things where I see you get stuck with your teammates a lot. And this would be a spot where I would have wanted you to be like, this is awkward as fuck. I just want to leave.
Get out.
For me, this looks like really forced fights is what these look like. Where, you know, the best advice I would give is just to not be here again. And it's because you're kind of like pre-planning for fights. And the beauty of Underlord, yeah, like this is the same thing. You would walk bottom or you would walk to mid, but instead you're like TPing to your teammates and hanging out around them. That's what we don't want to be doing. So yeah, right here you would like walk mid, TP mid, something like that. Ready to go to your team. If you want, you can farm the camps on the side or defend the lane with your Q. You got hooked. That sucks.
So at this point, mid's like, he's doing his own thing. Then he goes,
you know what the problem is? You're not doing your own thing. You're always with other people. That's actually the problem. What I've actually noticed for myself is that there's two sides to this coin, and I'm usually on your side of the coin. So there's people who like overly try to be involved with the team, and then there's people who have like overly fuck off energy. You and I have the overly involved with the team thing, and we tend to really dislike each other. And what I've noticed is that what's really funny about it is it like bothers me so much because I also know that like I'm doing something wrong too, and I just want this guy to be with me on the map, and he doesn't want to be with me. And rather than like understanding like, for whatever reason, this Leshrac wants to do his own thing, and instead of me being like, I'll just also do my own thing, instead I'm like, come on, Lesh, let's go do something. But that's just exhausting, and it never works, and it feels like a really unenjoyable experience. So I guess just, you know, a fifth point of note that I found for myself, if it feels like my teammates want to do their own thing, then I got to find my own thing. And honestly, in the first 20 minutes, it's usually pretty easy. Meaning, like, just go somewhere on the map where nobody else is and farm there.
Yeah.
Later on in the game, you kind of rely on your teammates to, like, actually show up. And if they don't show up, it's usually pretty game losing. But in the first 20 minutes, it's, like, quite doable to kind of do your own thing and get used to it.
Yep.
And I think that's where you're at is, you know, as a support, you're very often used to coordinating with your team and going around moves. But in Dota, all 3 cores are really responsible for their own net worths. And I think, like, success for you would be that you're, like, up here. Like, not here, but, like, up here. You know, somewhere in the
Yep.
middle. If we can just get your net worth up, like, 2K by minute 20-ish, that's, like, a huge win. But it's all about this overly focused on helping your team and being with them all the time. And if we could almost just say, hey, man, you're allergic to your team, like your success in the first 20 minutes is how rarely you are with your team. And when you go to them, you have like big items. You're like, oh, I just finished my mech. I just finished my Greaves. I just finished my Crimson. The next time my team fights, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to be there. And then the second that the fight happens, you're there. You know, that's like perfect. Now, I'm not expecting that instantly, but it's like, that's what you're going for. So like right now, you know, your default is to be with your team. We want to reverse the default to be away from your team. And I need you to have a very specific reason to be with your team. And if you don't know what that is yet, then just don't.
Yeah.
Just don't. I know it's easier said than done to just not. I know this is like an old habit that's going to die hard because you also are playing support in half of your games or whatever. So you kind of need to like flip your mindset back and forth. But you know, I do think if you were to play Underlord specifically, it would make this job easier for you. And it's probably a good starting point. But that would be my recommendation.
And it's rarely a banned hero, so it's pretty easy to play.
Yeah, do you have any final questions, clarifications, anything to make sure you're set up for success leaving today?
No, it's good. Appreciate the help, Brian.
Awesome. Looking forward to seeing what we can make happen and hopefully get past this you know, new frustrating priority queue things that they have or high demand roles or whatever it's called. So awesome, man. I'll let you go there.
I'm sure Valve will change it again once I get the hang of it.
Of course. Of course.
Of course.
As it always goes. Have a good one, man.
As it goes. Yeah, bye.